So here with more tonight, Karl Rove, former chief of staff to President George W. Bush, and Marie Harf, former President Obama's State Department spokesperson. Both are Fox News contributors. Great to have both of you here tonight as we wait for the president's speech to get started a few minutes down the road. Marie, I want to start with you. I heard General Jack Keane talk about this morning, and he said it took the Obama administration far too long to deal with ISIS, that he claims that the administration was too concerned with possible adverse consequences of their actions, and he sees President Trump's action as decisive and effective. What do you say?
Well, I think it took the whole world by surprise how quickly ISIS was able to take territory in Iraq and in Syria back when they first really rose to prominence. But after our administration sort of got a better sense of what was going on, we did put in place a plan that we see being carried out now. I mean, the plan to retake Raqqa was put in place during the Obama administration. Now, President Trump has done some things like loosen some of the rules of engagement. He has made some tweaks around the edges. But this is a plan that the military has had in place for a long time. And Ed is absolutely right. This is a big victory.
But some of the military would say that they weren't allowed to do what they believe that they could do. And, Karl, I want to get you in here. Even President Bush said he always listened to his generals. He had daily conversations with them. We did not see that in the Obama administration.
No, and let's be honest. The reason that ISIS spread so rapidly in that map that we saw recently across the Syria and Iraq was because in 2012, for political reasons, the Obama administration withdrew our military forces from Iraq. Does anybody think that if we had kept intelligence gathering and air assets and military trainers and military coordinators, that as an organized column of ISIS approached Mosul, that American firepower and American leadership could not have helped the Iraqis keep them restrained and not allow them to take Mosul and all that territory right up to literally the city boundaries of Baghdad. So, yes, President Trump did two things. First of all, he made clear that we're going to take action. And we saw that when, unlike when President Obama said that's a red line if they drop gas on their own people, when the Syrians dropped gas on their own people under this president, he immediately took action. Missiles. And then he listened to the military and unleashed them on the mission that they could do, which is setting up a force of Syrians to work with American trainers and American assistants to do exactly what we saw today. But let's not kid ourselves. The battle against ISIS is going to continue.
Absolutely.
They've been kicked out of Raqqa, but just like al-Qaeda, we will face these people for years to come.
They have moved down into the Euphrates River Valley. That's where they have migrated while this area has been bombed and hit so ferociously. You also have the Russia element. They recently retook the city of Mayadeen, which is also a stronghold of ISIS. So now you've got really the battle between Russia and Iran and the Syrian forces backed by the United States for control of Syria.
Well, right. So the Syrian civil war is going to continue, regardless of the fact that we've retaken Raqqa. But I think the real threat from ISIS, and look, to respond to Karl here, ISIS would never have existed if its precursor hadn't been able to flourish after we invaded Iraq back in the Bush administration. So this has a longer history past the Obama administration. But to be clear here, what I think is the biggest threat is ISIS ideology having spread to Europe, to Africa, to Asia, and these lone wolves who maybe have never even gone to Syria.
I want to put something up on the screen because you have a great point. This came from the MI5 General Director Andrew Parker in the UK today. He says the UK has seen a dramatic upshift in threat from Islamic terrorism this year, reflecting attacks that have taken place in Westminster, Manchester, and London Bridge. He goes on to say, he said that threat is multidimensional, evolving rapidly, and operating at a scale and pace that we have not seen before. Those are terrifying words.
It is. And unlike al-Qaeda, which really wanted people who were going to carry out terrorist attack in their name to come meet them, to pledge allegiance, to train with them, ISIS doesn't care. They're fine if you go online and you get radicalized and then you commit a terrorist attack in their name. These people don't even have to go to Syria or Iraq. And it's much harder to find folks like that. So this is going to be a very serious challenge in the West, across Africa and Asia.
I want to play something from the Rose Garden today. This is the Greek Prime Minister with President Trump. He was asked a question by John Roberts. Watch this.
You said of the potential for a Donald Trump presidency, quote, "I hope we will not face this evil." And I'm wondering if after spending time with the president, you have changed your mind or if you're of the same mind.
I wish I knew that before my speech.
The meeting that we had was very productive. Not a moment did I feel that I threatened at any time.
A number of countries were a little bit nervous at the beginning, and I have very good relationships with the leaders of virtually every country I've dealt with.
Interesting moment.
One quick moment. May I say that I really was taken aback by your audacious swipe suggesting that President Bush was responsible for al-Qaeda and ISIS. Islamic terrorism has been around for 20 years before he took office. You may have forgotten that the attack was made in 1993 on the first
Well,
attack on
I
the World
was
Trade
responding
Center.
to what you said about President Obama pulling out of Iraq and that being
He did.
responsible for the rise of ISIS.
No,
but
for the spread of ISIS.
Okay. Well, ISIS actually started as AQI during the Bush administration.
I get it. And we could go on with that for a long time.
We get to defend our own administration.
But in terms of the Greek prime minister saying that he was concerned that President Trump was going to be evil, he handled the moment well. And he said, you know what? A lot of people were nervous about me coming in.
Well, look, if you go to Europe, particularly in what we call the New Europe, Eastern and Central Europe, there's a growing recognition that America is there. And they want America to be more there. But America is there in a way that they were afraid it wouldn't be.
Karl and Marie, thank you very much. Great to see you guys.